Ulalele Ifly FM, taking you places.
Welcome to Fly FM. You're chilling with me, of course, the gifted doctor. And this is where we are taking youth places. It's 10:41 on a Friday morning. And of course, today we have another brilliant, young and gifted guest with us, speaking to us from Joburg, all the way from Gauteng. Her name is Lerato Ngomane. She is a wife. She is an independent practicing registered counselor. She's a serial entrepreneur, and she's also the founder of the Empathic Approach Private Practice. So we actually met on LinkedIn, met that is, and I'm excited to say that, well, it is my first conversation officially with her too today. Welcome to Fly FM, Lerato.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, thank you for having me more than anything. And hi to your listeners.
Thank you so much for availing yourself. I'm looking forward to chatting to you and to hearing more about you. So let's get right into it. Lerato, for the listeners and everyone who doesn't know you, actually including myself, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, what you studied, and how you basically got to where you are now.
Okay. So like you've already mentioned, my name is Lerato Ngomane. I'm coming all the way from a small township outside of Woodbank called Kola location.
Okay.
This is where I grew up with my sisters, me being the last born. I'm the last born of 3 girls. My sisters being twins, and my mother and my father. I just grew up in a loving family. I would definitely explain it as a very together family, a family that prays together, a family that goes to church together, a family that has Christian values instilled in them. That is the people that I come from. And one of the things that when I think about my background that stands out is that I was the stubborn child, okay? out of my siblings, I was that child that was I had to have my way. Whatever I wanted, I would definitely find my way to twisting my parents' arms or just finding my way into getting what I want. And one of the things that my dad said to my husband, actually, when we were getting married, he said that this child is someone who fights for what she wants. She's a fighter. And I need you to be able to nurture that, because when she puts her mind into something, she's one person that will fight until she gets it. And you need to be able to be okay with that, and more than anything, nurture that. So that's the kind of childhood that I had. I had parents that supported me and understood who I am, right? Coming from a small town of Kola, as I've already mentioned, I had no business thinking about being doing anything in psychology or becoming, a registered counselor in private practice. But one of the things that I really wanted what fascinated me when I was growing up is that people had potential. We all had dreams and aspirations growing up. I would have peers that we would talk about what we want to do, where we want to go. But because of the circumstances in the location, none of them, were able to fight through that. And none of them were able to push through that. And that's one thing that frustrated me, that I said, I want to understand the human mind. I want to understand what does it take for a person to move forward from the adversity and then actually reach for their goals. And that's why I decided to study psychology. I studied at Midrand Graduate Institute here in Pretoria. And that's where my journey started. I studied and I became what I am today, which is an independent practicing registered counselor.
Wow, what a beautiful story. I love the fact that you are so proud of, having come from a very strong, what sounds like a strong family, a very supportive family. I mean, not everyone has that, and I think that's probably part of the reason why you are so steadfast in getting what you want, because you always had that support. You always knew that you had somewhere to fall back on. So I love that. And that you're curious about the human mind. So I can hear a little bit from your story that resilience, our topic for today, is something you're quite passionate about already, just from what you're saying. So I think I love hearing people's stories, even just as you've told already. But just before we get into, the technicalities of resilience, what is your personal story with resilience?
Sure. So with me, when it comes to resilience, it's, I think, one of the reoccurring themes of my life.
Okay.
First and foremost, maybe I'll start by just explaining the fact that as much as I have older sisters, me being the last born, but I'm the first to finish their mission. And the first to actually say that I am going to go to university. So with that already, you can imagine, I've never seen anyone go beyond matric. I've never seen anyone go to a big city and find their way through a big city and fight for their dreams. So meaning that I had to do it myself. I had to be the first one to go through that, or to break that cycle, if I could say that. So, which already just puts me at a disadvantage, if I could say, because the university that I went to is a private institution. So a lot of the students there, come from well-off families. Their parents, maybe they are the third generation graduates. So meaning their parents already have an apartment ready for them. They already have a car ready for them, all of that. And now here I am, the first to finish matric and the first to be in university. I have to navigate the challenges that come with university life. And they range from, sometimes financially things are not the greatest.
Yeah.
And you have to still make sure that you have a laptop. You are able to go to the library and find the information that you need for the assignments that you have to do. Not only that, but to find a place that is safe for you to stay so that you can go to school. So those are the things that I could say, were happening around that time in my life. And I did not have the luxury to tell my parents or to ask for support from them, because they didn't know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Because they've never experienced something like that. So that's where I could say that I started to realize that there's such a thing as resilience, where you have a picture in your mind about who you want to be. You know that you have to fight to become this person, and just because there are trials and tribulations, there are things that are opposing you, at the end of the day, you need to be able to fight through that, be able to adapt to the challenges, and then problem solve and find a way so that you can eventually become what you set out to be in the very beginning. So that's my story of resilience.
Wow, beautiful. I love that. It sounds like resilience and your trait that your father calls you of stubbornness go hand in hand. Sure, I love that. Yeah, it's such a reminder that we always have to fight, like you said, for what we or who we want to become. It's not always going to be easy. So how would you define resilience? Moving away now from just a personal story, but if you had to define it, how would you actually define it as a registered counsellor? And why is resilience so important for mental and emotional well-being?
Yeah. So resilience is the ability to adapt and bounce back from adversity, challenges and setbacks. Like I've already mentioned that, there will be things that will be opposing you, that will be coming up against you, whether it's adversities, challenges, trials, however you put it. But
Sure.
you being able to adapt to that, bounce back from that, is what I can define as, being able to be resilient, or the notion of resilience. It's not about avoiding your difficulties, but by the way, because sometimes we think that it's maybe, better for me to, act like I'm okay.
Well, welcome back on air.
Yeah, sorry about that. We live in Gauteng, no shedding happens.
We live in South Africa.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
These are some of the hurdles we have to overcome, but that's all right. Thanks for.
And the resilience average.
Definitely. This is where resilience comes in.
Exactly.
Okay, yes, you were still telling us about resilience and why it's so important for mental and emotional well-being.
Yeah, so I don't know where I cut off, but I'll just say resilience is the ability to adapt and bounce back from adversity, challenges, or setbacks. Like I just mentioned in my story, the challenges and the setbacks that come in life are sometimes inevitable, and you have to have the ability to adapt, and that's how we can define resilience. And it's very crucial for your mental and emotional well-being, to your second question, because it empowers you to maintain a sense of hope and purpose, that despite the adversities, I still have a sense of hope, I still have a sense of purpose. Therefore, I'm going to have to stand up from this, or pick up from this, so that I can go forward with my purpose and the hope that sits before me.
Sure, I love that. And I love that you said it's not about trying to shy away from the adversity or the emotions.
100%.
Sure, that's so good. And is resilience something that people are born with, or can you develop it over time?
Well, with some individuals, they may have a natural tendency towards resilience. As you've heard from my story, it seems like I'm one of those people that has like a natural tendency towards resilience. But it is definitely something that can be developed over time. So no one is immune. No one can say that, because I'm not born with it, then I can't learn it. But it is a skill that can be nurtured through your experiences, learning healthy ways of coping, and building strong support networks to help you through life's adversities. And while you are doing that, you are being able to cultivate resilience and learn how to cope with different things, and learn what to do when you face with certain situations. So it's definitely something that some people are born with, but it's something that can be cultivated as well.
Okay. And what does it take to develop it? Maybe would someone need to see someone like you who's a registered counselor, or maybe a psychologist, or is it something that you can develop just yourself, by applying practical measures on a day-to-day basis?
There's definitely some things that you can do, practical steps that you can take, right, to build your resilience. And that also includes seeing a professional. But one of the things that you can start to do is to develop a strong support system, right? We've heard it so many times how the people surrounding you are so important. You need to be able to choose the people that are surrounding you. Are these people supportive? Are these people that can hold you up, that can uplift you when life gets hard? So you need to develop that strong support system for yourself, so that when life hits, you'll know where to go and you know who to call, right? Another thing is you need to be able to practice self-care, right? And what that looks like is you engaging in activities that can help you relax and recharge. And this will look differently for everyone. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Everyone has, an activity that they can do, or something that resonates with them that can help them to relax. So in this case, you will have to be intentional to finding out what is it that, what activity or what hobby can I start to do that can help me to relax or recharge when my cup is running dry or it's running empty. Another thing, the third one, I'll say challenging your negative thinking. Ooh. One of the things that I like to say to my clients is that you actually are in control of your thoughts, contrary to what you might think that, no, these negative thoughts just come into my head. Yeah. Yes, they might just come to your head, but you have the power, you have the ability to stop those negative thoughts and change them for something positive, or positive affirmations as we call it in psychology. So let's say, for example, I'll just give you an example. You're thinking about something and that is negative. You can say to your mind, verbally say to your mind at that moment, no, that's not going to happen. This and this is going to happen.
Sure.
No, I'm not this kind of a person. I'm this kind of a person. And it sounds silly, but it's those little practices that you can do to help you to challenge your negative thinking and help you to what you call change them into positive thinking as opposed to negative thinking. Sure. Another point would be to develop problem-solving skills, right? Okay. Being able to focus, being a person that not only focuses on the problems or emphasizes how big a problem is, but you need to be able to cultivate a mindset that always looks for the solution. And you need to be intentional about this again. Sitting down, if you have a problem, sitting down and being able to say, these are the solutions that I can think of, and which one would work for this kind of situation. So just being able to cultivate a problem-solving kind of mindset is definitely something that those practices that you can do to cultivate resilience within yourself. And last but not least, you need to focus on the positive aspects of your life, because no matter how hard your life may be, no matter how difficult things may be, there is something to be grateful for in your life right now. So being able to think on those things, or being able to write those things, or bring your consciousness to those things, something that you can actively do for yourself to help you be resilient. By being able to say that, okay, yes, this is happening, but I'm grateful that I woke up. I'm grateful that I still have parents. Sure. I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to go to work. I'm grateful that I have a mind actually to problem solve. I have a mind to do my studies and all of that. So being able to be intentional about finding things to be grateful for is one of the practices that one can do to cultivate resilience.
Sure. That's amazing. Thank you so much for those practical steps. I love the one about just being a problem solver. We live in a day and age where it's so easy to just blame someone else, right, for everything that's going on and find a scapegoat, and taking accountability is very hard. So I think if we could all understand that actually taking accountability and saying, how can I actually solve this problem that's in front of me, instead of trying to blame it on someone else or find a scapegoat, is actually a form of bouncing back. So I love that. I love that so much. And Lerato, we live in a world of social media today, and on socials there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of comparison. How can one, despite scrolling through social media every day and you're seeing this one is doing this, this one traveled here, this one just bought a Gucci bag, this one just did that, got married, had children, etc. Sometimes the comparison and the pressure is even subconscious. So how can people develop emotional resilience?
I'll say it's definitely, again, I'll say, in our hands. We sometimes really let situations go on and, like you say, play victim to situations, but forgetting that we have the ability and we have the power to stop things. So in this context of social media, what it can look like for a person who wants to develop emotional resilience, even though there's comparison, there's pressure of social media. Number one, you definitely have to be a person that will limit time spent scrolling down your phone,
100%.
right? Which is something that you can actively do for yourself. I'm not sure if Samsung phones have this, but I do know that with iOS, on Sundays it gives you an update on your week or on the time that you spend on your screen.
Yeah.
So you can do that and look at the time that you've spent in a week on your screen, and then you can set a goal for yourself to say that, okay, I want to make sure that by Sunday I've moved from 8 hours on my screen to, let's say, 5 or to, let's say, 6, whatever is manageable for you. But you need to be able to set those realistic goals and say that I need to limit my time scrolling down or looking at my screen. All right, that's number one. Number two is unfollowing accounts that contribute to negative self-image.
Sure.
There are accounts that we follow or people that we follow on Instagram or whatever platform that each and every time we look at their content or contain their content, we start to doubt ourselves. We start to, feel down and feel unworthy.
Yeah.
And we know that every time that I look at this particular personality, this is how I feel about myself. Then I will say again, it's in your hands to unfollow those kind of accounts. Be mindful to follow accounts that inspire you rather than make you feel less of yourself.
Love that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then also a third one is one that is very important that I think we should be practicing every day is self-compassion, just being compassionate for ourselves. Because yes, we might be seeing so and so is at whatever stage of their life, but you need to come back to yourself and say that, you know what, I've done well for myself with where I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I might not be having the Louis Vuitton, I may not be living in this mansion and this and that, but being self-compassionate and looking at your own journey and things that you have overcome and where you come from and how it was so unimaginable for someone who comes from that kind of place to be where you are is one of the practices that you need to start to do to ground yourself, to remind yourself that, you know what, I've done well for myself.
Yeah.
Yes, there's more, but for where I am, I've done well for myself.
Sure.
Right? And last but not least, remind ourselves that whatever is on social media is something that is a curated version of reality.
Yeah.
People are not going on social media to write when they are crying or when they've just lost a job, or they're not doing that, right? They are highlighting the parts of their lives where they've gotten success or when they've gotten that car or gotten that promotion. So being able to realize again that what is on social media may not be the reality of what people are going through. So reminding yourself, I think, is something that can also help you to remember that you're doing just fine.
Sure. I like that. I like the last part. You're doing just fine. Doesn't matter what it looks like for someone else. You're doing just fine. Sure.
Yeah.
Love that. And as we close off, Lerato, what is a piece of advice that you would give to someone listening today maybe, and they feel like, you know what, I'm really struggling to bounce back from this or to stay resilient. It's just been a tough maybe past 3, 4, 5, even maybe 6 months, or even the past year. I'm just not seeing that breakthrough. Like, I'm just tired of now where I don't have any hope anymore. I don't see the point of life anymore. Like, someone who's just really struggling to be resilient. What's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, Janelle, I would definitely say, it might sound like a cliche, it's been said over and over again, but allow me to say this again to someone who's listening.
Yes.
You need to be kind with yourself and give yourself permission to feel.
Sure.
Despite what we are seeing in society, how people that are strong, seemingly strong, are being glorified. There are moments of weaknesses, and it is okay for you to feel sad.
Sure.
It is okay for you to feel down. It is
Yeah.
okay for you to feel frustrated, justified in what you are feeling, and it is okay for you to feel that way. And that's, I think, one thing that there has been said a lot of times, but people still don't get.
Yeah.
You see on social media, one of the things that really break my heart is when someone has passed on, and we see the people that have been left behind not crying at the funeral, and then you see comments such as, "Oh, they're so strong. Oh, you're handling it well. Because you're not crying. Oh, you're such a strong person." And that is us glorifying unhealthy ways of coping with things.
Sure.
Whereas the natural and okay feeling that you should be feeling is whatever you're feeling at that moment, and it's okay for you to feel that way, right? Knowing and understanding that life has setbacks, life has its pain, life has its frustration, and resilience doesn't mean that you have to be strong all the time, but rather that you have to acknowledge your feelings, learn from them, and then keep moving forward.
Love that.
Yeah.
Resilience doesn't mean you have to be strong all the time. Lerato, thank you so much. I think, we could go on forever. It sounds like this is something you could talk about the whole day. And thank you so much for just breaking it down for us and sharing your expertise with us. Where can we find you and stalk you and book an appointment if we need to or want to, or refer our family members or friends?
Yeah, so the social media platform that I'm active in is definitely LinkedIn. So you can just look for Lerato Ngomane. Lerato Ngomane. But if you want to book an appointment with me, you can email me at leratongomanerc@gmail.com. That is leratongomanerc@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you so much. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, on all things resilience. Lerato, take care. We wish you all the best with your private practice, and we pray that it will continue to thrive as you heal every person that you encounter. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Lerato. Take care. Bye. And that is it for today. From me, the Gifted Doctor, it is goodbye.